Yeah.
We got a game critic in the house.
Well, it's funny you say that, because before I had actually started deciding to make music and stuff, I did actually
think about being like a game critic or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna do like Let's Plays and game reviews and stuff like that.
I see you doing that.
I was
okay.
But I hate editing. I hated editing so much. I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't. I couldn't do. There were just a lot of things against it. And I realized around the time that because I did actually initially launch, not this channel, but another channel that I had launched it where it was going to, or maybe it was this one before I rebranded it. It was going to be video games and all that different stuff. And around the same time that I was doing that, and I only made 2 videos, but around the same time that I was doing that, I started writing my own music. Mm-hmm. And initially I was like, well, this is just going to be a hobby, this isn't going to be a big thing or whatever. But the more I did that, the more I realized I really like doing this. I can do this. I can actually write my own music, and I can make this happen. So I just decided, I'm more passionate about this. I feel like I can make a more positive impact in the world by doing this.
Yeah.
And I really don't like the editing process. Like if I could just, and I thought about streaming and different stuff like that too, where you just kind of, play and talk or whatever. But I don't know. That's one of the things that I love about this, is we can just talk about whatever the hell we want. Mm-hmm. I really like that I can just, because that's something. That's one of the things I really love about a lot of Let's Plays and stuff, where the ones that I watch, they kind of go. They talk about the game enough, but they kind of go off the rails on different topics too. Some of the first things I even started that got me into YouTube in the first place were gaming channels, like commentary channels, like Hellfire commentaries, Brain Scratch commentaries, and those guys just opened a whole new world for me, really, and that's how I found out about things like Audacity, which we're recording on now, and so many other different things. I've learned a lot from that. I don't know. That's very much, I guess, kind of the world of the internet and YouTube that I started in, was that kind of like gaming kind of world. Yeah. And then I've transitioned more to like, now I kind of just have a mix of that and the music and the like, I know enough about mainstream YouTube stuff, and I've gotten a bit into the like kind of the, I guess, left tube or bread tube as it's called, and the political stuff with all that. So I don't know, it's interesting. It really, I look back, and I was just thinking about this earlier today. How different do you think you would be if the internet as it is today didn't exist? How different do you think you would be? Because I honestly don't know who I would be. I don't know.
Yeah, I would be very, 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 very different.
Right.
I actually don't know what I would be like, or be doing, or like I don't know. And I'm actually so glad that you and me and everyone else that are around our age has grown up in this digital world,
right?
Because like mom and dad were telling me like a couple of months ago, like back in the day, like the quote unquote text messages, were writing a letter and putting it in the mail, and waiting days until
or email,
or email, and then you have to wait and wait, and wait some more. But and bro, we've got like our phones. Yeah, I'm really grateful for it, because man, if you don't know what is what, you can just look it up. Like, let's say you don't know what Smosh is, right? You didn't know you can literally look up what is Smosh, and it give you what it is.
Yes.
But back then, if you had to look up something, you had to drive however long to a library,
right,
and like either go through a book or something.
I know, look.
Oh, this is what this is.
It's crazy to me.
It's
to think the fact that
I'm really blessed.
The term "look it up" used to mean going to a library and like looking stuff up in a book. I had no idea. I thought that was like a new term for looking stuff up online. I heard people be like, look it up. Like, but wait, how did you look? Like my parents would tell me, or my would be like, oh, you know, we used to look up stuff like, you know, in the library. I was like, how do you, what, you like used a computer to, no, we just looked stuff up by going there. Like, what? That's not looking something. It's just mind boggling.
Yeah, and that actually brings me to, sorry, go ahead.
No. No, you were mentioning something there that I had remembered, but I lost it. So you go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, no. In college, one of my professors, my English professor, he gave us a little project. Mm-hmm. The project was, obviously, it was like to do something on like the Native Americans and like some war, just some. I totally forgot what it was, but it was a project like that. And like what language they spoke and all that kind of stuff. And he said, but the kicker is you guys aren't allowed to use the internet. And we're like, what? Like no going on your laptops and doing that stuff. He said, you guys have to go, and I won't tell you how I'm doing this, but I will keep an eye on each and every one of you to see if you go on the internet or not. But the challenge is, don't use the internet. Go to a library or go somewhere besides the internet and get your information from there. And one kid was like, well, can we use the computers in the library? And he's like, absolutely not. That's that's the internet.
Yeah, of course.
And he's like, oh. And he's like, all right, get cracking. And yo, there was like 4 libraries on campus. Yo, the libraries were packed for days. Packed like you couldn't even get in.
Wait a minute, was this like a home project that you had?
No.
Did you have to prove that you had a physical book?
Yeah.
Okay, because what I was going to say is you probably... Alright, well, never mind. Because I was going to say you probably could have just like found online sources and
oh yeah, no, you literally had to get like either from we were struggling.
Yeah, totally.
Like, and our professor at the deadline, he's like, wow, and then you have really gotten this far, far at all. Mm-hmm. We're like, because we're used to doing internet stuff, you know, looking it up on the internet. He's like, all right, I'll give you guys like a couple more months. And a couple more months went by, and all of us finally got the assignment done.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, all you got like B's and A's, which was fantastic.
Sure.
That was great for me. And he's like, so, how did you guys like this, the kick of the project? And we're like, it sucked ass, man. This was stupid. And he's like, well, that's what my generation had to go. We had no such thing as a cell phone or a phone.
Yeah.
If you want to look up something online, if you want to look up something at all, you have to go to a library and get a newspaper or an actual book where you can flip the pages instead of clicking down on the screen and look stuff up. So I realized at that time how much I relied on the internet so much.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I'm never ever doing that ever again.
Yeah.
Not in the middle. Well, I like the internet, people. I like it.
It's, it's always a weird, like, the idea of, I would always be told by my parents growing up, well, we didn't have such and such when I was a kid.
That's what my parents would say too.
But you know what? If you really think about that,
get with it.
But if you really think about that, that's true for literally every generation. Because the idea is, my parents would say things like, oh, kids today, you guys don't know how easy you had it when I was a, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, when they were our age, or younger at this point, when they were back in high school, they didn't have access to the technology that their parents had, and their parents didn't have access, and so on and so forth. It's like, well, if you carry that back far enough, you can say, well, when your ancestors used to have to, serve, I don't know, the lords of the land and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's just kind of a ludicrous, it's like a so what? You're right, it wasn't this way back in your day. What's your point? It's not that time anymore.
Yeah, like I said, it's 2020.
Either adapt,
get with the program.
Yeah, you either adapt or get left behind, truthfully. So That's just kind of the way it works.
Yeah, so that I'm never... Professor Hendrickson, if you're listening to this, I hated that assignment, and you're scum. Just kidding, you were a great professor. But that assignment, never doing it ever again. I'm actually...
Why?
Just...
I,
But you were a great professor.
Yeah, I had teachers that would do things like that. Nothing like that project, but I did have a project back in middle school. We had to make a brochure for a different country, right? And it was for my geography class back in the day. And
back in the day,
I made this brochure. I made this out and everything. It was ready to be printed. I don't know I didn't have my own computer at the time. I was using my home computer. I don't know what exactly my dad did. But somehow he deleted my file.
No.
He deleted the entire thing.
Ooh.
And it was literally due the next day.
Ouch.
So I didn't have time to go and redo, put my own stuff back the way it was. So I copied and pasted everything from Wikipedia. And I got an F on the project for plagiarism. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, I did plagiarize. But...
Had to.
It was either that or I would have just turned it. Was bullshit. But I mean, I understood why. And people were, I'm like, well, whatever. I don't,
You see, the story is...
What's the story?
My dad deleted.
Yeah, instead of... oh, that'd be funny. Like, instead of my dog ate my homework, my dad deleted my homework.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. So, something else I wanted to bring up. Mention about how, don't know kind of where you'd be without the internet and stuff like that. I know for a fact I wouldn't be doing this.
Me neither.
I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be pursuing the career that I am. See, until I realized that people could kind of make something of themselves online by using the internet, I always just thought, well, I wasn't born in California or New York or somewhere. I don't live in a place where I can go and just make something of myself as an entertainer. I can't do that. So I guess I'm just gonna live a pretty normal life. There was a time where I wanted to be a music teacher. What I really wanted to be, what I decided I wanted to be before I had gotten back into making music and even Let's Plays and all, wanting to do that and everything again, was I was going to be a DJ. And none of that happened. But
I actually can't see you being a DJ.
No, okay, let me clarify. I don't mean like an EDM DJ. I mean kind of like what we're doing, like a radio show.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Right.
Okay. Never mind. I can't see you doing it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. What I wanted to do, and then in the end, of course, none of that happened. So, it is what it is. But yeah, man, yep. I don't know. Like, it's just crazy to think. Especially because now, like you mentioned, we look stuff up. Mm-hmm. We Google stuff all the time.